Let's go. Yeah, let's go. It's being recorded.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we on the radio at the same time, Rick, so, as you know.
Right. We are live on the radio right now, GHCR. And before we get started, I'd like to read one of my favorite poems before we get started. And it says, the longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, the education, the money, than circumstances, than failure, than successes, than what other people think, say, or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding attitude. Regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. And that was Charles Swindoll. And with that said, Brother Boris, I'm going to need a favor from you, man.
Sure.
Can I get a favor?
Sure.
Huh?
Sure, you got it.
Brother Boris, football player, football legend, Grant legend. I'm going to need you to go a couple of rounds with me, man. I'm going to need you to go a couple of rounds with me, man. Brother Boris.
My pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today, Boris Pendergrass, author of Surviving Layoffs, which is, you have two different versions, right? Attitude,
Yes.
Action, Affirmation, and then Surviving Layoffs, Faith, Favor, and Follow Through.
That's correct.
Okay, now, do you know that this recording is done by way of Grant houses? We're not in Grant now, but I mean, we have a studio built in Grant Housing Projects. Did you know that?
I did not know that. That is awesome.
Yeah, so check that out. I mean, and let me just first of all thank engineer Doug Frazier, Stuart Reed, who's is part of the team, and also Carlton Davis. You familiar with Carlton Davis?
Yeah.
From 55. Well, he's the president of Grant now. And he's a major part of why this is happening now. We have this platform. And he teamed up with Doug Frazier, Stuart Reed, and now they're producing programs out of Grant projects.
That is awesome.
Now, before we get started, I want to give a shout out to a young lady, wonderful young lady, man, by the name of Daisy Pendergrass, who came to the studio up at City College. And we were literally dancing in the studio. I don't remember the record we were listening to, but we were dancing in the studio, man.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah.
Was that amazing or what, man?
Awesome. She loved it, man. She enjoyed being on your show, man. It was a blessing to her.
Yeah, and you know, what she did. Now it's three of y'all, right?
Correct.
3 boys, right?
Correct.
What she did, and your father, your pops, what y'all did with you young men, is, I mean, top of the line, first class. You guys have always been, you know, first class, top of the line.
So just, I was going to say just a couple things. One, I know my mom and dad are looking down now at you and Carlton and at the Grant Housing, you know, radio, community radio, and they're excited about that because they were actually part of the governing body for Grant Housing Tenant Association. All through my years, they wrote grants, submitted grants. They had computer classes in there. They had karate self-defense classes. They did sewing. They actually took groups of kids annually on trips to the African American Museum in Baltimore, Maryland. They took trips to DC. So, you know, to see this happen out of Grant, right, our own Grant Housing Community Radio's community radio, they're excited about that. That's the kind of stuff that they were doing. So thank you for continuing that.
Hey, Rick, can I just say,
when we get back in the studio, you have to come to the studio and visit the studio. It's beautiful. It's broadcast out of 1295, and it's amazing, man.
hey, Rick, I just wanted to mention that, not to forget that Grant House also has its own radio station as well, FM radio station. So we just want to mention that.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Did you hear that, Boris?
Yeah, FM radio station, not even AM, FM radio station.
95.9 FM, baby.
Woo!
Yeah, coming out of Grant.
That's one of the only 2 housing projects probably in the whole country that have that. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, man. Congrats on that. We appreciate that. I mean, that's just setting a path for the young generation that's there right now. There's nothing that they cannot do.
Hey, Boris, when you hear the word characteristic, what becomes present for you? Characteristic, that word.
Well, I mean, you know, it's one, your characteristic, what represents you, right? What's your characteristic? What are you known for? But I mean, the foundation of that is your character, right? How you kind of act as a person, or, you know, an organization, a group of people, you know, what's your characteristic? What are you known for? So that's what jumps out at me when I hear that.
Yeah, because you got Boris Pendergrass, you got Cornell Pendergrass, and then you got Mark Pendergrass. All three of you guys' characters like solid. Like you never heard anything like these guys, you know, getting in trouble. They were just good guys. Always speak when you see them. Just great young men. Like, man.
So now we're going a little old school, because if you came home and got in trouble, Walter was ready to, you know, put one on you. You know what I mean? So I couldn't walk into my house with like some bicycle that he wouldn't buy. He's like, where did you get that bicycle from? You know what I mean? You know, who let you hold that? Your friend? I'm going to call him up. So you couldn't bring in no stolen goods or nothing like that. And so just parenting story. I remember one time, you know, I was an athlete, and, you know, thank God I never did any drugs, right? Because I was just so focused on my athlete. But one day I was in like, I don't know, 13, junior high school. And I grabbed, just marijuana paper, you know, rolling paper. And my parents went through my notebook, my book bag, and saw some rolling paper and was like, what is this? So, you know, you wasn't getting away with nothing. Wasn't getting away with nothing.
Woo! Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But hey, I want to take you back to your intro.
People,
so your poem of attitude, is that what you read all the time, or was that okay? Great, because that was in line with.
No, I just read it today. Like Spirit spoke to me. Spirit said, "This is what you need to read."
Good.
Today.
Good.
I have read it before in the past. Like I have a lot of different parables and little stories that I like to share in poems, but today, I don't know, that spoke to me today. Like, listen, you need to share this today. You know, I feel like I'm being guided, man, to do this work, man, to share with people. And so this is what spoke to me today.
That is awesome. So, you know, we asked about 2 versions of the book. So there's a Christian version and there's a corporate version. Right. And, you know, the corporate version, when you see attitude, action, and affirmation, you know, affirmation, where does your self-value come from? Where does your self-worth? What affirms you? Right. In the Christian community, your faith is key component to that. But, you know, I can get my affirmation from, you know, my people around me. Right. My education, my knowledge of, you know, the environments that I'm in. So, you know, that's, you know, where that affirmation comes in. But attitude, exactly like you said, things are going to happen. The book is all about change is going to happen. Right. And you know, if we're back to the book, I'm in this technology space 25 plus years with some of the leading companies. And 3 times my name has been on the layoff list. Boris, you don't have a job. You need to go find a job inside or outside the company. So change is going to happen. So the key is how, like the poem said, how do I respond to that? What's the attitude I have towards this situation, this change? So that's the key component of the attitude component of the book.
So, I mean, each time this happened, I don't think you panicked. What did you do? What'd you do?
So I'll start with one of the stories, which is the most shocking one, right? So, I sell software. I demonstrate software. I do $1 million deals. I've worked for Oracle, AT&T, Bell Laboratories, Siebel Systems. So, I am getting ready to do a demonstration to a customer tomorrow. And it's $1 million deal, right? It's a team of 4 or 5 of us, and I'm like the lead person. So it's about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. We're doing a dry run, right? Preparing for the meeting tomorrow. And my boss comes in. She wasn't supposed to be there. She comes in and says, "Hey, Boris, come in the office. Just want to talk to you." So I'm like, okay, maybe she's going to drop in on the dry run just to make sure everything is going well. So I go into her office and she says, "Hey, we just had a reorganization and your job no longer exists. Your name is on the layoff list and you got 12 days to find a new position inside or you're leaving. And oh, by the way, will you still do the customer meeting tomorrow?" I'm like,
wow.
What? Exactly. What? So you said, in that situation, right? Hey, I think that was back when, I had just moved into a new house, almost about a $500,000 house. So I got a mortgage on that. My kids were in a private school, Christian private school, right? And yeah, I had some savings, but I didn't have 6 months worth of savings, right? So all these things are going through your head. So, I'm not fearful, but you're mindful of, what the potential consequences could be. And in the midst of that situation, I heard in my head, "Boris, don't burn no bridges," right? Because I don't know where that next job is coming from. I don't know who's going to help me. Is it my boss? Is it somebody working on the deal? Is it somebody above her? So I heard, "Don't burn no bridges." So yeah, I'm mad, upset. I like to throw a 1-2 on somebody, but I said, you know what? I will do the deal. So I did the meeting. We won the deal. The customer won it. But then now you go into that mode of, okay, I need to kind of assess myself. What's just happened here? What's my skill sets? Where can I apply them? Who are the people in my camp who I can reach out to, right? And then battling all those other thoughts of, anger and fear and, what if, and mortgage loss and kids out of school. So it is a process in the book. That's just one of the examples that I walk you through and how I successfully came out on the other side with job offers inside and outside the company.
Wow. So you grew up playing sports. I grew up in sports, boxing. And so one of the people that we look at basketball, usually we look at MJ, usually.
Right.
He became the champion. But the thing is, he didn't win a championship by himself. He had a team, right?
You're
right. Look at LeBron. LeBron won some championships. He didn't do it. He had a team. He didn't do it by himself. Muhammad Ali won championships, but he had a team too. Yeah, Angelo Dundee, Bundy
trainers,
Brown,
managers, spar partners.
He had his cook. He had his sparring partners. He had a team. I mean, he's the only one in the ring executing, but he has a team working with him. So I thought about that. What made me think about that is seeing Joe Biden with the election. When he won, when he was elected, he started putting his team together. I'm like, where's the team? My question to you, Boris, is why do we do it in life by ourselves when you need a team in a success game or to win the championship? You need a team. Why do we do it by ourselves? Why do we play the lone wolf?
I think a couple of things. One of the things I realized that is, who are the people who are around you? Because you need a team, but that team needs to be people who are encouraging, right? A supporter who's not going to pull you down. So, when you're going through these seasons of change, right? These layoffs, certain people you can't pick up the phone and call because they're going to be afraid. They're going to be worried. They're going to pull you down. Oh, what if? Certain people you can't even call. And these are people who love you. Friends, family, love you. But you know what? They're not ready for this kind of fight and battle. So you don't call them, right? But you should have a team, right? So who are those friends around you? Who are those coworkers? Who are those church members? Who are those guys who hang out with you? Who can, and we need this as men. We don't hear a lot about it, but who can I call on the phone, complain and cry to, and they're going to be, okay, B, you got it. I love you anyway. Now let's go, and go get this next thing. Mm-hmm. So you're right, team. And then part of that team is, even when I'm laid off, okay, Boris, you've done deals with a number of people, right? Because in this $1 million software game, nobody closes it by themselves. It's a team, right? So there are people who I've gone to battle with who think very highly about me, who if I pick up the phone and say, hey, can you point me in the right direction? Can you give me some advice? Would you give me a good, letter of commendation, right? Would you be a reference for me? So you're right. When that happens, it makes you sit down and say, okay, I got this next challenge fight, looking for the new job. Who's the team I can engage on this?
There's another part to that too. I also looked at this. When I look at MJ, something else that he had. He also had, guess what? A coach.
Yeah.
LeBron also had a coach. Muhammad Ali had Angelo Dundee, his trainer, which is somewhat of a coach. So again, why we need a team. You established that, but we also need a coach too.
Yeah.
What about us in this thing called life and business, in the corporate world, and we need a coach.
So a concept that we've been seeing a lot in the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years, and really we're seeing a really push of this after all of the protests that happened this last year, is the whole concept of mentors who are coaches, right? The whole concept of hey, let's link up key talented people, especially we Blacks, African Americans, right? You need mentors who are going to help you climb that ladder, help you navigate the things ahead of you. So I know it's happening in my company, it's happening in a lot of companies because of all, of the deaths, the murders of unarmed Black men, the protests that have happened. So now what you're seeing in corporate America is an increased motivation around diversity and inclusion. And in the midst of all of that, they're saying, hey, Boris, hey, African-American employees at our companies, we want to let you know that you're important to us. We want to make sure we're connecting you with coaches, with mentors. So we are seeing that happen in a lot this year. But, I think over the past 5 to 10 years, you've been hearing that, people say, hey, I have mentors in my life who've helped me navigate, the battles in front of me.
There's another, how much is the book?
Oh, so the book is $15. It's on Amazon.com, right? And it's called Surviving Layoffs. There's a Christian version, faith, favor, follow through. There's a corporate version, action, attitude, action, and affirmations. So is there also, I've had some people interestingly say to me, you know what, I'm not spending my money on Amazon, and for whatever reason, if that's your situation, it's also available on BorisPendergrass.com. So, and again, $15. There's, if you go to Amazon though, there's a digital version. So it's available on Kindle also. There's a digital version.
The reason why I ask you how much the book costs, because there's a guy, I don't know if you know this guy, I don't know if you heard of this guy, he plays basketball. He goes by the name of LeBron James, right? It's documented that this guy invests $1.5 million per year for his training, conditioning, his food, his chef, massage, the chamber thing that he does, all this stuff, all kind of coaches. They say, oh, well, he makes all this money, so he can afford that. But wait a minute. How much are we investing on our personal development, our success? Are we going to spend $5 to help us be better?
Yes.
$10, we invest $15 that can help us be better?
So
Are we willing to do that? That's my question.
You got it. You got
speak
it.
to that part.
And the whole purpose around the book is really to help people, right?
Right.
For me to walk through these situations 3 times, also often people internalize, right, the stress and anxiety associated with that. And then in this year, and I actually wrote the book probably a couple of years ago, but with this season of COVID, all of this change, right, shakeup, opportunity, right? I thought it was a great time to make this information available. And I guess you will appreciate this. Another reason is, you talked about my parents, right? Daisy and Walter Pendergrass. They volunteered in the community. They did grants in the community. They took kids that they didn't know who lived in the community and trainings and computers and trips and Black History events. So we have a heritage of helping. My parents did that. Not just, our cousins and their nieces and nephews, but our community, right? So they have a heritage of helping. My brother, Mark, my younger brother who lives in Charlotte, he has a nonprofit called Creating Entertainment for the Arts, it's CEA in Charlotte. And he actually trains young men and women from underprivileged environments and teaches them photography and digital, technology. And they've been in magazines, they've been in newspapers, they've had art showings. And, these kids have graduated from college and they're coming back and contribute. My other brother, or the middle brother, Cornell volunteers at his church. He volunteers at his community. So we have this heritage of helping. So, I'm just continue that heritage, doing my part.
And Cornell is in Virginia.
Well, actually, yeah, Cornell moved to Philly. So you know what happened, right? We from Harlem, right? We from Grant. So Cornell was like, look, man, I'm down here in Virginia. I can't get no sports. I can't get to the theater. I can't get to my concerts. He's like, I need to get closer to the city. So he came back. So he's in Philly. So now he's only, an hour and a half from New York. So yeah, he missed the Northeast, man. He missed New York City.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty cool, man. Yeah. So invest in yourself. How important is that to invest in yourself, man?
So
$15 to invest in yourself. LeBron, 1.5 million. Right.
And I'm going to take you just beyond the book, right? I'm going to take you beyond the book. You've been a professional boxer, right? We're not talking about that today, but I was an all-city quarterback in New York. In high school, I was the number one high school hurdler in the East Coast, number 3 in the country out of high school. I won a national championship in the hurdles. I was a free agent with the Washington Redskins, cut right before the season. Free agent with the New York Jets, cut right before the season. So I say all of that about our athletic careers because to accomplish that, it takes practice. It takes, working on your skills. It takes investing in your physical shape, your mental shape, your preparedness, your understanding of the science of what you're doing. So it takes significant investment, time, and commitment. So now let's take that to our lives, right? Our jobs, our businesses, the relationships, our parenting, right? Our love with our husbands and our wives and our significant others. So you need to be investing in yourself, training yourself. So yes, this book is a component of that, but with the technology available today, you can find anything on YouTube. There's free college education online. So you can train yourself, right? You can read periodicals and go to the libraries and research and study, right? So I like what you're talking about. Me and you, Rick, we're encouraging people to invest in yourself and be prepared for the challenges, the changes, and the opportunities that's going to come before you. Yeah.
Well, speaking of challenge, I'm going to challenge you now. So I'm going back to this guy named MJ. And I didn't know, I just found out recently today that when he was doing Space Jam, the movie, he was trying to get back in shape to come back to basketball. I didn't know that. So on Warner Brothers lot, they built a dome. And I was listening to Bellamy talk about it. It was like they had basketball courts, massage, restaurant, food. I mean, it was hooked up, a dome on the lot, in the parking lot, right? So, dude, I need you to build me a dome, man, with a boxing ring in there, boxing facility, basketball courts, workout facility. I mean, the whole works, man. Listen, my guys, they did the radio part, so now you got to do the dome part. You got to come, you got to come with that. But let me just add to that. This is important. The creativity part. This blows my mind. Before you were coming on, the engineer was playing a piece by Kobe. Kobe wrote a letter to the game of basketball.
Right.
And Boris, every time I think about that, that blows me away because this is the creativity part. I just love that so much that you would think, oh, let me write a letter to the game of basketball. Yeah. So I'm saying that to say, hey, man, I need my dome, man. I need a dome, man. A little boxing stuff in there, man, and the works hooked up.
Well, you know what? We that will be a follow up. We'll follow up to that, man. There should be some kind of fitness workout facility right in Grant, man. If we have a radio, community radio, yeah, we should have it be a fitness room. So I don't know if you remember this, man. I'm going to bring this back to you. So I think it was about a year ago. Matter of fact, it was last year. Last year, Christmas, my family, my daughters bought me a heavy bag.
Wow.
65-pound heavy bag, right? And I'm in my basement. I got a full basement. So my basement has a heavy bag. I got Bowflex. I got bench press. I got leg extensions. I got, dumbbells, free weight. So I actually called you up. And I don't know if I sent you the video, but I called you up and said, yo, I'm starting to do some boxing workouts. And I was asking for some of your advice. So I was doing 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off. I was able to get to about 6 or 7 rounds. And you was like, Boris, that's good, but you need to cut that 2 minutes off to 1 minute off and do 3 minutes on the bag. So yeah, man, I got my own workout environment. So definitely we'll work on how can we get that there in Grant.
No, but the reason why, I was joking about that, but the reason why I said all that is that one thing that we need to do in dealing with your book is the creativity part and the imagination. That's a part that's so important because we grew up with creativity and imagination. Yeah. Doug, right, who played Rucker basketball, NBA basketball, right? I tell him that we played on the monkey bars. He laughed like it was a joke. I said, man, we had serious games on the monkey bars. I developed my basketball game on the monkey bars.
Yes.
What's he talking about? He don't even, come on. At 550 Park, we had serious full court games. One time we even had a 3-on-3 tournament on the monkey bars.
So you bringing me back, man. And I don't think I ever shared this story with you, but in the 4th grade, I won a writing contest. It was called the 4 Freedoms. And it was, the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to gather. And I forgot what the 4, freedom maybe to defend yourself, right? So I actually, submitted a piece that I wrote, an essay, and it was all throughout New York. I came in 3rd place. As a result of that, me and my mom was at and my dad, we were at an awards ceremony, Waldorf Astoria, and Governor Rockefeller was there and handed me my plaque, right? So as a result of that, Walter Cronkite did maybe like a 2-minute interview on me, came to Grant, took video of me and my crew, Billy Dean and Brundage and Dave Parker playing basketball on the monkey bars. CBS News, basketball on the monkey bars. So that was our breeding ground, man.
Yeah. And I started on the monkey bars and then there was Pitt 125 Park. But then, from there was Stone Gym. So, but I started on the monkey bar. That's where it started.
Well, I wasn't good enough to make it to Stone Gym, man. So they only let me play on the monkey bars. They let me play at Stone. They was like, go play football, Boris. You can't play up here and stuff.
Right. Wow.
My brother Cornell, though. Cornell played at Stone. Cornell played for Riverside. He played with with Kenny the Jet Smith. So yeah, Cornell has the basketball skills.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Let me get your website again.
Sure. So that website is Boris, Boris Pendergrass, PENDERGRASS.com. BorisPendergrass.com. And there, there's some video clips in there. There is, the book is available in there. Also, I launched 2 podcasts, which I'm going to have to get you to come speak on my podcast. One is called Surviving Layoffs Community Conversation. Now, in that one, I bring resources, subject matter experts, people with extensive experience, HR, executive recruiters. I have counselors there, that handle change and trauma. And we talk about, handling change. The other podcast that I'm going to get you on is called The Path to Success, because the path to success is rarely a straight line, right? It's twists and turns, it's hills and valleys. So what we do is we bring people on and we experience their path to success. I have a gentleman who went from being fired to founder, CEO of his own executive search firm. And he's doing, business with billion dollar firms, right? I have on there guy who was a computer programmer, right? Ends up getting downsized and laid off, takes that package and starts his own HVAC company. Now he does commercial, heating, ventilation, air conditioning in Central Jersey, right? Employing people. I had a recent conversation with one of my daughters who went from, hey, I'm getting ready to graduate from college, going to law school, and things changed. Now she's a director for a New York City hotel group. She's head of project management, property management, and facilities. So we bring people on like you, and we experience your journey to success, and we encourage and enlighten other people. So all that information is at the website, BorisPendergrass.com.
Okay. 2 final questions. First one is, you mentioned you wrote a story on the 4 freedoms. What is your definition, or what does freedom mean to you?
Oh, so, freedom to me is, the ability to make my own decisions, and ability to, explore my path, my goals, my dreams with equal opportunity. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be adversaries, right? There's going to be competition, but I'm not expecting discrimination, segregation. I'm not expecting, the system to hold me back. So that's what we're talking about, the freedoms that we have, and be able to walk in that.
Right. And final question. Why are you here?
I'm here because I love you, man, because we family, we people. Is that, you mean why am I here on the planet?
Yeah, why'd you show up at this place at this time?
Sure.
Your parents.
Yes.
Why now? Why you show up here? Why now? What
so I think why now is, we're all put, on this planet, I think to help others, right? To live out our dream, but in living out our dream, we're helping others. We are a community of people. We are a family of people. Nobody is an island, right? I don't care. MJ couldn't win by himself. Bill Gates couldn't build Microsoft without having engineers and technology and marketing people, right? Nobody is an island. We need each other. So, I'm here to encourage, to help, to support, to build people up. And, and the book is to equip them, to take advantage of the opportunities ahead of them and to reach their dreams.
Wow. Speaking of, this is awesome. You coming out of Grant. This is awesome, having this platform, and then having Carlton Davis to be the president. And growing up, how crazy he was, right?
We changed.
How crazy he was growing, huh?
Yeah, we change, we grow, we develop.
He's the guy's the so that shows you what's possible, the possibilities. The guy's the president of the projects now. Look at that. That's amazing. I love that, man. I love it. And the fact that we have this platform here. So you will be back. This is not your last time. You will be back. And matter of fact, I got to reach out to Mark talk about what he's working on right now. So I think Doug, the engineer, fake basketball player, is going to fake Rucker guy. He's a fake Rucker guy, man. Like Donald Trump say fake news, he's a fake basketball player. But he's gonna be so honored to know that you came from Grant. I know he loves that. The fact that you're from Grant and here sharing your gift with us.
Coming back home, man. I'm coming back home.
That's right. That's right. Now you in New Jersey, right?
Yeah, I'm in New Jersey, man. I'm Central Jersey, Jackson, Six Flags. Right. I got snow in the back.
Okay. So as soon as we get back in the studio, at some point we got to get you in the studio.
You got it.
In Grant Studio. All right?
You got it.
Yo, Boris, man, thank you. I love you, man. Keep doing the good work. Love to you, your parents, your family, the children. Next time we got to talk about the children. We got to talk about, because we didn't talk about them too much. So next time we're going to talk about the babies.
You got it, because my youngest daughter is co-captain of Manhattan College basketball team. And right now they're number 1 in the MAC. So my youngest daughter is up at Manhattan College on the basketball team.
They still babies to us, man. They're going to always be our babies.
You're right, man. Rick, thank you, man. I appreciate the love.
All right, man. All right now. Peace.
Dear basketball. From the moment I started rolling my dad's tube socks and shooting imaginary game-winning shots in the Great Western Forum, I knew one thing was real. I fell in love with you. A love so deep, I gave you my all. From my mind and body to my spirit and soul. As a 6-year-old boy, deeply in love with you, I never saw the end of the tunnel. I only saw myself running out of one. And so I ran. I ran up and down every court after every loose ball for you. You asked for my hustle. I gave you my heart. Because it came with so much more. I played through the sweat and the hurt. Not because challenge called me.
Calling my name, see who it was, rolling on my way.